Is that worth having a discussion about? Sure. Punt, go get PSS, an SE, someone a lot smarter than any of us. But 2 or 3 questions, guys, and you can just continue to go around and around and around. This is real, by the way. We have our own VDI thin clients. We OEM them from Wise. We call it virtual experience infrastructure. We do some things very differently. But that's real. That's the next phase of what we're working on with my team. This is our next big growth area. We just sold 150K in that in Raleigh about 2 weeks ago. That's awesome, because it means we get to go back to every single person who already has a phone on their desk and essentially sell them another phone. Or in Joseph's futuristic world, when we lose the phone on the desk and I lose that 150 grand, I can replace it with my thin client. So my net loss.
So you have to sell them a new phone for the VXI?
No, I sold them the actual tower.
The little...
The 2211.
You can do the piggyback on a phone.
Will it piggyback on like 87?
No, 9700.
So you have to have a new
So
phone.
you guys are selling desktop?
But you don't have to
Or
have
you
a
can
new
just
phone,
right.
just do the appliance.
And that appliance?
There's a Citrix version, there's a VMware version.
That one,
And then
is it power over Ethernet?
Does that require a cert?
No, those appliances are fine.
Advanced
And
UC,
we also have one.
you've already got it.
In order to sell that thin client, you have to be telephony certified, which you guys are. You have to have our unified compute certification, which you guys have. If you wanted to sell the CS tablet, which Cisco has, you have to also have the wireless specialization, which you guys have. You guys can play in that space all day long. And we refer to ours as a zero client versus a thin client. And if you think of it this way, if a customer is going down that path, they want to run VDI or they want to run the Citrix thin client, and they've already bought into Cisco video at the desktop. Unless they've bought into video at the desktop in generic form, they've bought into voice over IP. Well, if I try to take that video packet or that voice packet and try to push it down a thin client packet to that Citrix terminal that's sitting there at the end, I'm going to degrade the voice, I'm going to degrade the video, and it's not going to come across, they're not going to get the experience. You look at Cisco and you step in with our zero client, I'm now able to take that voice and video packet and deliver it with all the expertise and quality of service that I always have, and I'm able to give them their thin client experience.
You said something in there, you said Citrix, so it is Citrix, VMware,
Soon to be an Hyper-V.
and Hyper-V. Okay.
Yeah, we're on Gen like 2.0 right now, so the non-voice supported one is out. The wireless one is coming, so we're growing that portfolio right now. But
And we have no religion as to one side or the other. We want to be the conduit.
And just to circle back around to the marketing event, if you're partnering with a VMware or a Citrix, and that marketing event says VDI, that is top of mind. That puts butts in seats. Yeah. IT guys are really interested in coming out to see that. It's new to them. It's very top of mind. So when you're saying, okay, I'm doing a UC lunch and learn or something like that, if it is, you can get a Cisco resource to talk about VDI during that event. That's going to bring more and more people in because it is a lot.
And it's really something that you need to know just enough to be able to ask the question, to qualify a basic answer back, and to know to get somebody engaged to be able to talk. Because I tell everybody that I talk to about those, you can tell me whatever you want, but I'm going to run through my questions, and then once I'm through that, then we're going to decide if VDI is what you want, or if you need to do another feature. It's still maybe thin, it's still maybe screen, and maybe the other things, but you need somebody to be able to kind of qualify that for them. People, and the IT folks know that they need to ask the questions right now, but they really don't know what they need. So this is a really good opportunity to become that trusted advisor and be able to push them in the right directions and say, oh, well, take this for this, maybe we'll combine the technology. Oh, by the way, have you seen, and I love this because then I go, and you know what's really easy, these Blade servers, it's just awesome because you're going to have to buy 4 of them to be able to do those 250 clients, and wouldn't it be nice to, you really do want to engage somebody, and you'll see it after a while.
It will become a cycle, but it's one of the questions we were talking about earlier, ask, what's your VDI strategy this year? Assume they have one, that it's going to happen. As soon as they tell you, well, it's a proof of concept in July, come back and get Amy and your storage guy and go back out and have this discussion. That is a guaranteed discussion point right now. What's your VDI strategy? Joseph, go ahead, and I'm going to answer Mike's question about how I would.
So,
yes.
I think I already know the answer, but I just want to verify. What are your remote site needs for this strategy?
For this,
No, for the VDI strategy.
well, I think the key there becomes that VDI typically requires about 1 meg to 1.5 meg of a static stream to connect back to your server. So you gotta make sure you've got some good pipes,
Yeah.
or what it leads to is a discussion on loss.
Okay. Okay, and is that changed at all? To give more for the VDI?
Last I heard, it had none. So unless
Okay.
you're standing up a different server out there, it's tough if you got 1.5 meg if you want to go put 10 people out there and run that back across a T1. That won't work real well. And guys, correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm a little.
I mean, again, VDI, so truly that's virtualizing your desktop and LAN environments is still a little hairy because both the bandwidth requirement and the backup bandwidth requirement, because obviously if you go down, then what are you going to do? That's where Citrix continues to be, or streaming applications continues to be very positive, because if you have to take that T1 or dual T1 or whatever, 5 meg pipe and run a cellular or a backup cable modem, you can still have pretty good experience. VDI, boom, into the ground, and so you really have to watch out for that. I mean, it's that, you know, and that's really the key here. If they really want to do it, you've really got to qualify and make sure that they understand the aspects of it. Everything can be done, but when do you want to do it, and making sure they make good choices. You know, that's.
But again, this is a first meeting discussion. That's a third or fourth meeting discussion, right? That's the bill of materials that's coming together, and we're trying to figure this out. Is it one site today? Is it two? Is it through WAN acceleration? Is it through a separate site? Right, so let's not get caught up too much on being able to replicate this message. Mike, you asked about UCS. I think the hard part about UCS is explaining what it does without being able to see it. It's one of those technologies that you have to see. If you guys have not been to Atlanta, or have not been to RTP, or not been to a CVC, find your best customer, the biggest opportunity you have, and put them in the car and take them there. And go and meet David and Billy and do a CVC, do a one-day trip. We'll treat you like kings, we'll feed you to death, and you will see every piece of technology that you even knew existed and then some. They'll take you through TAC, they'll take you into the data center, they'll let you meet the people behind our support numbers, they'll let you meet the product managers. You'll go in and see beta gear, it's not even out yet. It's an incredible experience.
Where is this available?
Raleigh and Atlanta.
Rick, is there a size of customer or opportunity bar associated with doing something like that? Is it needed?
If you can get them to go with you, go. Right? Go to Raleigh. Amy might not come with you for $50K, but David will meet you up there.
I think from Greenville, probably Atlanta, but same otherwise.
Yeah, we've got a fully manned staff down there that will do all that stuff with
Yeah,
you.
for you guys, it's kind of
Atlanta.
50-50, right? Atlanta's great. Sometimes going to Raleigh is worth the extra hour drive, depending on what the customer's talking about, just because of being able to actually go walk the floor at TAC and see who's answering calls. That's impressive to see. Okay, these are the guys that we call when we have an issue, and see they're real people and they're sitting out in Raleigh taking calls.
The new data center in Building 1 is
New
very
data
impressive. They've got a containerized data center in the parking lot behind that, so.
EMC's in there now.
Yeah,
so every
All
video's
the
in
roads.
there.
It has
They
across
set
the
11
street.
attached to the back.
They've all
Okay,
gone all
coming up
over
to 1
the
minute.
East Coast.
And you don't have that in Atlanta?
As far as the
Data
cameras.
center, Raleigh,
go,
which one? That's 45 minutes.
I'm used to Raleigh,
Yeah, Raleigh,
San Francisco.
yeah.
Atlanta. There's a few others that float around, but from where we sit, it's a big, the reason we go to San Jose is because we've got everything. Rick Justice, John Chambers, Chuck Rollins.
Let's answer Snyder's question here real quick, and then we'll take a much needed break. And then we can Mike,
Cover 100%. Okay.
you said you wanted to know about how UCS fits into this. So again, you guys have to understand the storage piece of that, right? So if you guys already have a little storage whiteboard or something else you can do, fantastic. Now's the time to kind of segue out of that. If I'm talking about UCS, and again, trying to simplify it to determine what Joseph is looking for, I'm probably taking what Trevor said and saying,
Did a whole lot better?
no, not at all, Trevor, you did fine. And saying, what we are trying to do is converge network, storage, and compute. We're putting that intelligence into what we're calling fabric interconnects. Those fabric interconnects will connect into a chassis, right? We have an 8-blade chassis in a 6U space, so very, very small enclosure, 6U. This is dumb sheet metal. There's nothing of importance in here. It's a doorstop. In the grand scheme of things, it won't cost more than $5,000, which is downright cheap in comparison to HP, Dell, or IBM. Because in their chassis, they will make you buy Ethernet switching, which is probably ours, fiber channel switching, which is either ours or Brocade's, and management modules. We do all of that in here. These are 20-port unified fabric boxes. You know what unified fabric means? It means any port, any protocol. 1 gig Ethernet, iSCSI, 10 gig Ethernet, fiber channel over Ethernet. I don't care. You want to plug one of these into your EMC? Awesome. Let's make it 2 for a dozen C. You want to plug that into your LAN? Awesome. I don't care if it's 1 gig or 10 gig. Plug it in. You're now wired east, you're wired west. Any port.
Can you
All
plug it
the
directly
intelligence.
into the EMC now?
Yes.
Well, you've always been able to, you just had to distinguish which technology you wanted.
But it's fiber channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
It's fiber channel for Ethernet, that's always been a problem.
I thought you had the zoning issues, had to put a fiber channel switch in.
Don't get too technical on it. And so, we then connect downstream, okay? These are 10 gigabit links. I've got 20 gigs running from 8 blades. How many gigs do you have coming on each server today? Let's say you've got 2 quad port NICs. Means you've got 8 gigs, right? Going out of a single, well, sorry, those are 100 port, right? 10 gigs here, 20 gigs. That can be replicated as many times as you like, up to 80 gigs per server. A tremendous oversubscription, of which you will never need, most likely. But the key is, you've now got a completely condensed shell full of resources. Resources like RAM, CPU, storage if you'd like it, but let's leverage your investment in centralized storage up here through our EMC architects. Everything else just becomes a pay-as-you-grow. You need more RAM because you're doing more virtualization. Stick more RAM in one of these blades. Take the RAM out, put it in another blade. Buy a different size blade. Buy a full width blade because these are interchangeable with more RAM in it. We can do 48, 96, 128, 256, half a terabyte. Doesn't matter. You tell us how much RAM you need in here to make it work. We'll put it in there. It's all based on Intel processors, it's based on Samsung memory, completely standard stuff, repackaged in a much different way. All of the intelligence, all of the switching, all of that expensive stuff is up here. And right now we're going to give you one of these free. You can buy another one. So there's a very good chance we will be the same, if not less, than that HP chassis you're looking at right now. Better yet, these are custom designed to run voice. So as we talked about, I'm going to give you the call manager VM, a Unity connection VM, call center VM, and our presence VM on a single dedicated blade. So now I can virtualize your entire communications business onto a single blade. And I'll take those other servers that you already have back, and we'll use them for trading credit to buy this. And I left you 7 open slots. So now you can move Exchange over, you can move your web servers, you can move your file shares, you can move your SQL boxes, and we're going to program them all up in here to give you instant redundancy, knowing that if you ever lose one of these blades, just move it. Move that service profile that you heard Scott talk about, and within 10 minutes you can reload that application. New one will be here tomorrow, no big deal. Pull one out, plug it in. And when you finally grow out of this,